Hi, and welcome to our weekly videos. My name is Corey, and I am here with Peyton and Yaila. And this week's topic is dun 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 calm in times of chaos. How do we stay calm in these times of chaos or any times of chaos? We're going to discuss that. So, Yaila, why don't we start with you?
Thank you. This is such a topic that is swirling around with a lot of people. I'm seeing this with clients. I'm seeing this with students. I'm feeling the pressures. So, staying calm during the chaos, what I tend to find is when you are seeing or experiencing chaos, many times it is things that are outside of our control. Many times it's things that we are anxious about possibly happening. Many times we are worried about, just the little things that start to feel huge and we start to build it up. And so I'm such a firm believer in where you focus your energy will grow it. And when there's like little things that, get shifted or change, or, when we talk about astrology or things like that, there's always some kind of planet moving somewhere for something. It's going to stir up whatever, and it's all beneficial, right? There's a high and there's a low side. So just expect there's going to be things that pop up. There's going to be things that you're still learning, you're still deciphering. And so when I am navigating myself and I'm navigating students and clients during their times of chaos, there's a couple little approaches I like to take. First and foremost is checking in as far as where are your thoughts about what's going on? Because I guarantee you the majority of it is really what we are thinking in our mind. And it's starting to stir up the emotions in our body. And then that is rippling out to the world around us. So first, ask yourself, is this something that's in my control? What about this is in my control? Because, sometimes we're worried about hearing about what's going on in the world. We're worried about what's going to come into the future. We're worried about, XYZ. And so we can really start to loop in our mind about the future next steps. And we can get really anxious, we can get really swirly, and we can get really fearful really fast. So ask yourself, what can you focus on in this present moment, in this now moment? What can you do? And there's tons of different things that are my personal go-tos. So for one, I like to look at, can I physically move my body? Sometimes I need to just physically move the energy out of my space. I'm a physical person. So I'll go for a hike, I'll go for a walk, I'll go for a jog. I'm lucky enough to live by the ocean. I will go walk by the beach and be around, the salty air and just notice nature. And when I look at nature, I notice nature's just doing its thing. It's not worried about the next 5 minutes. It's not worried about tomorrow. It's not worried about all the things we're wrapping up in our mind. And I force myself to look at those things that are in alignment when I'm moving my body. So it's not just moving my body and just like letting all the thoughts continue to go. The process is to get myself out of the looping thought patterns, because that's what's really stirring up the chaos for me internally. So I'll move my body and I'll focus on things outside of me that are already in flow. And it starts to help remind me that the majority of the world is in flow. There is an alignment, there is a connection, there is just a present momentness about everything. Another thing you can do is start to tap into all of your senses. What do you hear around you? What are all the different sounds you can pick up on, and not to go down the rabbit hole of the good or bad sounds. You don't want to put too many thoughts to it. You just want to observe. Oh, I hear the bus. I hear a kid laughing. I hear, a dog barking, whatever it is. Just start to pinpoint things that you hear and tap into those senses. And then you can bring in, what do you see? So similar to the nature, right? I see a bird up in a tree. I see a little baby bird trying to fly. There's a butterfly that just swooped past me. Like, what are things that you are noticing? again, not putting too many thoughts to it, just observing. What do I feel? What does the weather feel like? What do my clothes feel like? What does whatever, just like really tactile things in the present moment. What do you smell? What are the different smells you can bring in? So when you bring in all of your senses, this is a helpful step to just bring you back to the present moment. And you might catch yourself going back to the thought that's making you swirly, and that's okay. Just remind yourself of, okay, is this something I can take care of right now? If it's a yes, take care of it. If it's a no, switch it up and focus on getting your mind off of that topic. Another thing that I like to do is, let's say I can't go outside and I can't go out for a walk, but I have some downtime, at my house. I'll pull up a YouTube video. Abraham Hicks stuff is one of my favorite go-tos. And you can pull up any topic that you are thinking of. And there's a million and one different videos that you can watch. And there's something just about the steps that Abraham Esther channels on how you can shift your mind into a new reality. It starts to make me personally feel a little bit more empowered on, oh yeah, I do actually have a say in where my thoughts are going. Or anybody else. Think of someone who is inspiring to you. Look up those people or things that are inspiring for you or funny. If there is something that just makes you laugh, turn that on and bring your focus to that present moment. Don't add anything else to the mix. Don't bring in your phone. Don't bring in anything else to, kind of keep pulling your distraction to those things that are bothering you. Let yourself just be in that moment, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes. And so these are things that we can do to really take control of where we're allowing our thoughts to go, because the world around us can sound, feel, be very chaotic. And we want to make sure, are we in the present moment? Which is where more of all of your power is in this present moment. So getting yourself to a more neutral place first. And then once you're more neutral, once you've let the energy flow through your body, once you've let your thoughts think of something different, then is when I like to ask myself, okay, what do I need right now? Me as a person, knowing that this thing is bothering me, what do I need to help myself? And, sometimes for me, it's eating something that I love. Sometimes it's listening to some good music. Sometimes it's going and chatting with a friend. Sometimes it is actually doing a meditation. We have some grounding meditations that you can listen to. We have other forms out there if they can help you. But sometimes at first, it's hard for me to get myself to sit down to meditate. Another thing I like to do is just free write. Sometimes those thoughts that are looping in your mind over and over and over again is your subconscious mind's way of keeping you in tune with what might be a threat. And so if you just write down everything that's on your mind, just journal, free write, don't, limit yourself as far as like spelling and things like that. Don't edit yourself too much. Just let whatever's in your mind out. Give it a place to go other than looping around in your mind. That can also be really beneficial before you do some type of meditation thing to help you switch your mood. Another one is to reach out to people like Corey Payne and myself. We do energy readings, we do energy healings. These are things, get support. If you actually need support, if you feel super stuck, get support. There's a lot of different people out there, just see who you resonate with. And these are some key first steps that I would like to share with my students, my clients, when I did health coaching in the back in the day. These were kind of steps that I would take to help myself stay calm amongst the chaos. And when I focus on the things that I actually have control over, I felt more empowered to make clear choices and focus my energy on what I really wanted and not stir up energy on focusing on things that I did not want. So I'll start there. How about you, Peyton?
Yeah, that's a great perspective, Yaila. I agree with everything that you said. And I think something that I have been noticing lately is that, as y'all know, we have been going through a period of very intense planetary energies. So we have been, bombarded with Schumann resonance spikes, with solar energy every single day. It seems to get higher and higher. And as the Pleiadians keep telling us, that is only going to increase. So one of the reasons I think that so many people are feeling a little chaotic, a little overwhelmed, is because the energies are really getting turned up to 10 on the entire planet. And so when that happens, the purpose of that is to bring our density to the surface. So both personally and collectively, as the energies increase, the function of that is to show us where we haven't healed. And that's happening individually, and that it's happening collectively. And so it's like we are all in a huge pressure cooker. And so it's going to manifest a little differently for everyone as to how they handle these energies and kind of how it looks to them, like what the manifestation of that, cranking up of the dial looks like. So it's something that is kind of unavoidable. So if you are beating yourself up for, feeling a little chaotic, just know that everyone is going through this right now, because it's part of our ascension process, because it's showing us what we haven't dealt with. So for me, there's kind of one main question. It's kind of similar to what Yaila was talking about, that I like to ask and to encourage my clients and students to ask whenever they're feeling like things are a little out of control. And that is this chaos yours, or is this not yours? Because again, like Yaila was mentioning, we can get very wrapped up right now in drama that doesn't really belong to us, strictly speaking. So you can get very amped up over looking at what's going on in the world. I mean, that's a great source of feeling chaos right now that's not necessarily happening in your personal life. And the same thing with our friends, especially some of our non-awake friends, or those of us who still have a solid foot in 3D, whether that is a 3D job or, 3D friends and family who, haven't necessarily been doing their work for a long time. So one of the first things I encourage people to look at, and one of the first things that I do when I feel like things are kind of spinning out of control a little, is to look and see, okay, am I picking up and responding to other people's stuff or things that aren't necessarily happening in my personal life, which we have, a huge menu of things to choose from right now? Or is this something that's actually something that's happening to me personally? So I think that's a big question right now, because a lot of things are tempting us to slide into fear. So we have a lot of shiny toys out there that are people, institutions, platforms wanting to drag us into fear energy. That is the whole purpose of a lot of the matrix game that is going on right now. So we have to resist that temptation. So if you ask yourself that question, where is this energy of chaos coming from? And it doesn't seem to be really something that is happening to you in your personal life, then one thing the Pleiadians always recommend to my clients is, can you step away from that somehow? Is this something you have to give your attention to? Or are you just paying attention to things on default? And so many of us do that, right? We're trained to be on that phone, turn on that TV, and Lord only knows what you're going to connect with if you do that. So the first thing the guides are saying is, if the chaos, the things that are kind of making you feel either fearful or anger, can you move away from them? Can you stop following that person on social media who, sends you off the rails every time you see them? Can you step away from those videos that are very triggering? That source of news or information? Can you turn the TV off? Because so often we give our power away just because something is there. So the first thing that the guides, the Pleiadians, have been really suggesting that people do is step away from external sources that are jacking you up. So if you have friends in your life that always put you in a tailspin, the guides are saying it's time for us to do some housekeeping on that, to start cutting ties with things that send us downhill every time we do them. And so the first question is, if the thing that is making you feel very off, very agitated, is not necessary, can you move away from it? Can you just delete it, turn it off, walk away, spend less time with that person? So that's one of the first things that I always encourage people to look at, because a surprising amount of things that we stress out about are things that we can actually not give our attention to in the first place. So that's always the first thing, just in case we are doing it out of default. And a lot of us operate in default mode more than we think we do. So the first thing I always encourage is check to see if this is really a burden you need to be carrying. And if it's not, put it down. The guides are saying that as light workers and starseeds, our job is to protect our vibration at all cost. Our job is to hold the light. That is why we are here. And so if we're getting distracted by all the shiny toys and everyone who hasn't done their work, who wants to, take advantage of our energy, the guides are saying it's tough love time. We need to be very vigilant that we are not giving our energy away to people who haven't done their work. And that's not to say we don't support people, that we don't help them, that we don't share our knowledge, but we have to make sure we're not letting people drain us for free. So that's always the first thing I encourage people to take a look at. But then sometimes we ask that question about the chaos and it comes back to us. It just does. It is something that, we need to take a look at, because our personal stuff is going to come to the surface as the energies increase, just as the collective stuff is coming to the surface. So if this is something that you're recognizing you have some responsibility in, might be one of your issues, what do we do? The first thing I always encourage is that's when it's time for us to heal and integrate. The universe is just showing us something that we haven't dealt with yet. So go to your healing tools. You know how to do it. We have talked about that in so many of these videos. It's time to then use our healing tools, our shadow work tools, all of those things that help us process anything that might be coming to the surface and making us feel a little unstable. It's just energy that hasn't been integrated. So that's always a big thing. It's just a sign that we are at the next level of needing to do some healing work. But then the final thing that I do see happening in so many of my starseed clients in particular is causing a little bit of feelings of chaos, or things not working, things kind of going backwards, is that a lot of starseeds are going through an activation right now. And so what is happening is that a lot of starseeds are being called to work on much larger energies than they've ever had to work on before. And so the way that can show up is as an issue in our personal life that doesn't respond to our normal energy tools. So if you are someone who's been doing your work for a long time, and all of a sudden you notice things aren't working, they're not resolving, and they're not responding to your tools the way they used to, it may be that you are going through a starseed activation right now. And I'm seeing this so much, especially in my starseed clients who are transmuters or grid workers or frequency anchors. So if you know that you are someone and that is one of your soul missions, you may be someone who is going through this activation process. And so what that means is a lot of starseeds are being called to work on energies for the entire collective. And all that means is these are massive energies, and they don't respond to a lot of the personal level tools that most of us have been taught. And so that's causing a lot of starseeds to feel a little shaken, like they don't really know what's going on because they have a few things they can't work through. So if that is something that is happening to you, I'm seeing that a lot in starseeds, that you're being activated in your starseed mission. And so then the guides are starting to share new tools with us, bigger tools to help us move through these planetary energies. And that's really exciting, but it can cause people to feel a little chaotic. So I wanted to throw that in, especially if you are a starseed who is noticing this is happening to you, because I am seeing a lot of that in my starseed clients. So to me, those are kind of the main things that I encourage people to look at when they start to feel, things getting a little shaky. And I agree with Yaila, the solution is always your tools. It's very helpful to have any sort of meditation practice when things feel a little chaotic. Grounding your energy, super important when you feel unstable. Getting out in nature, like Yaila mentioned, always helps me, even when nothing else really calms me down. Hydration, drinking tons of water can help you move emotions through you. And just any other healing work, which the three of us talk about all the time in our videos, bring out those healing tools, because this is when they really shine. So that's how I kind of work with the chaotic energy. How about you, Corey?
Oh, that's just so wonderful. It's really good. One of the first things I ask my clients and students when it comes to chaos, because oftentimes that's when I know, for me, I see people come to me when their life is just chaotic. One of the first questions I ask them, and you can ask yourself too, is, well, are you addicted to chaos? There are a lot of people that are addicted to chaos. I know in my younger years, I was addicted to chaos because it was the fuel that fed me to get my butt moving. Because it just lit me up, the adrenaline was going. And so I know that in those days for me, and I've seen it so much in my clients and some of my students, is that sometimes that chaos is created because it's the only way we know how to get moving. So that's the first thing, is identifying whether the chaos is coming from you or not from you. Yes, the world is ramping up. It is ramping up in chaos. And it's meant to clear the things that no longer serve us or the planet. And one of the things for me is the study of astrology. For some I know the reason, but for some reason, and I know the reason, is for me, knowledge has been good for me. So let's just say that, I study the week and what the planets are doing, because right now in 2022, we are experiencing planetary energies that none of us on this planet have experienced before. All the combinations, the aspects, the degrees in which the energy is hitting us on this planet, none of us have experienced before. So that's natural chaos, because our bodies are going, wait, what is this? Or just like Peyton was saying, you might use a certain energy tool or do things the way that you used to, and it's not working anymore. So we're having to navigate new energies. Astrology for me has always helped me to have the knowledge that when it gets chaotic, I can step back and pause and say, oh, there it is. There's that, Mars in Aries, or, there's that Jupiter in Aries, meaning the energies are really strong. That's one way for me, and that I've experienced with so many of my clients and students, that they come to me and go, oh my gosh, and I'll go, well, it's because, this planet is doing this and it's in that sign, and instant calm. So yes, there's a certain amount of knowledge that helps to calm the body, because a lot of times when we get into chaos, we're unsure. We don't know what's going on. It's being in the unknown, and we are in the unknown right now, and it is ramping up. And the reason for that is to clear a lot of the, like you said, Peyton, or maybe you did, yeah, either, the density that's in our 3D body. So that's one way to help stay calm in the days of chaos, is that knowledge. Astrology, numerology, those things have really helped to keep me in that observation place. for when the energies just might show up. And I go, oh, that's what it is. Another way to stay calm, Yaila, I loved how you said physical movement. Go out into nature, walk on the beach, go on the grass, hug a tree. Getting connected to nature is very calming. I too am an active person, and sometimes it takes just moving our bodies to move and shift that energy, because chaos is also that stuck energy that's just buzzing in our bodies for whatever reason that it is. The uncertainty of what's going on, fear, watching videos, like Peyton was saying, watching the videos or TV and getting engaged in that. We start to learn what is our energy and what's not our energy. And how do you stay calm? Develop your intuition. Develop your intuition. Because we start to learn as we start to develop our intuition. We get to know really who we are and what energy is ours and what energy isn't ours. So there's that saying, I'm going to paraphrase it, I'll probably bosh it up, but there's the American Indian tale of the two wolves that live inside of our tummies. And the wise Indian asks the younger Indian, and tells him, you have these two wolves that are in your tummy. One is the ravenous one, the one that is angry, the one that, likes to fight, and that's a warrior. And you have the other wolf that is calm and happy and joyous. So which wolf are you going to choose to feed at this moment? And I've never forgotten that. It was like Yaila was saying, whatever you point your attention to is what's going to come to you. Yes, chaos is everywhere right now. And like Peyton said, it might still come back to us, but we can choose which wolf we're going to feed. Are we going to feed into the chaos? Or are we going to, feed that one wolf that is happy and calm and nurturing? Another tool is, a lot of times when we feel so much chaos, it's because we're actually not in our bodies. We have engaged in that chaos, or the chaos has come to us, and our soul bodies just go, see ya. I know that when I am, when chaos comes to me, or it might trigger me, is I know I need to get back into my body. So a simple technique, looking down at my pants. What color are they? What color are the walls? What color's the floor? What color's my hair? What color are these beautiful earrings? See, you just got back on your body when you focus on something other than the chaos. That has helped me and my students and my clients a lot. So it is challenging to stay calm in these chaotic times, but we can do it. It's just a matter of what you're going to focus on, because there's always going to be chaos at some level. Yes, it is elevated right now. And, I'm so glad, as Dolores Cannon, was saying, there's the waves of people that have come in, on how to ascend our planet. And I'm grateful that I'm in that first wave. I've done a lot of clearing for the collective. And I'm the way shower now. And I'm grateful for that. So staying calm, I've had a lot of practice at learning how to stay calm. I think too, I have grand earth trine in my astrology chart, so I'm naturally very grounded. But in my younger years, at some point in time, I had to ask myself, am I addicted to chaos? I was, and I didn't even know it. So that's the first things first. You know, when that chaos comes and it keeps coming in, you might want to ask yourself, am I addicted to chaos? Is this how I get motivated to, get moving? Could be, but it's not necessary. So staying calm in this chaos is work. It is work. It takes being in the present moment. I love what you said, be in the present moment. Because when we stay in the moment, all that other chaos and stuff doesn't exist. As long as you're not like sitting in the middle of a war zone. Even then, pause or run. But that will shift your energy too. So that's really about all I have for how to stay calm in the midst of chaos. Anything else, ladies, that you would like to share?
Yeah, something that's popping in my mind is I always get a clue in when I'm moving towards chaos or frustration when my world around me starts to get more messy. So my physical world around me is more messy. The laundry piles up, the things around, there's little things that I'm a very organized person. So when I am feeling more chaotic, another way I should say, focus my energy is to start cleaning and organizing my actual stuff. When I can start to physically put things in order in my surrounding space, that starts to make me personally feel better. And it's always a clue internally, the thoughts are swirly, the mind is swirly, there's things a little bit chaotic going on. So sometimes that's a nice go-to as well. And then always amusement, curiosity, amusement, your superpowers, finding something that's amusing, even if you can laugh at yourself, like, oh, this is what's showing up in my face, this is what's going on. And I've learned now when things do get chaotic, when things are, getting pulled out from under the rug, upheaval, all this type of stuff, I always know it's because we are moving to the next level. So personally, collectively, we are moving to new levels. So just know it's not gonna be like this forever. Time will tell, more will be determined. So if you can laugh, if you can bring in a music like, oh, this is what's going on. Okay. If you can laugh at yourself, you'll be able to move through it a lot more gracefully as well.
I love that. And I like to keep on my phone, I save funny videos. So whenever I see something really cute on social media, I will save it. And then I have it for when I am feeling a little off. I can feel that spiral coming. And there's nothing like watching bad panda videos or golden retrievers falling out of chairs to, reset you when you're tempted to get into those distractions. And again, a lot of times it's something we don't necessarily have to be focusing on. So I always like to double check my focus and see if I'm letting someone else put me in a spiral. Because at this point, we don't want to take on anything that doesn't belong to us. We have our hands full. So making sure we're not doing work for other people is a good thing to check on when we start to kind of feel that out of control feeling. Is this something I really even need to deal with, or am I just letting my mind get away from me? So that's one more thing that kind of popped in.
Yeah, and one more thing that popped in too was all of a sudden I heard somebody say, "But isn't that spiritual bypassing?" No, it's not spiritual bypassing. It is shifting the energy. And, and it doesn't mean that you're avoiding what you're feeling. Chaos, you need to shift it. When we get into chaos, that squirrely energy, and I'm going to say, Mars is in Gemini for 7 or 8 months. It's squirrely. It's going to be squirrely. It's going to get squirrelier. And so staying calm in the midst of chaos, first things first, you got to shift the energy right away. And then if there's stuff to look at inside of yourself, so you're not spiritual bypassing, you can do that. But until you shift that energy from chaos to calm, you can't look at that stuff. So not to be confused with spiritual bypassing. Anyone else, ladies? All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching our videos. We just love to share our knowledge with you. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we love your comments because we are starting to do, well, we've been doing it, but we're really getting a lot more comments. And so we're able to talk about the topics that you want to hear about. So please like, share, subscribe. And until next time, bye for now.